Okay, so just overall thoughts coming off of that game?
Proud, super proud, because as a footballer myself, I know what is it to play 3 games in a week. Also, one of them going into 120 minutes away, not even at home, away, where you have to travel 2 flights to come back home, and go again midday. What was it, 46 or 50 something odd hours to play again. That just shows you the mental capacity of this group and willingness to fight, because being down 2-0, 2-1, also 2-2, maybe a penalty shout in the first half, but I mean, I'm super proud of these boys. Unbelievable.
How did you feel about Gerald's performance? Obviously, back-to-back games with a goal, and overall just super lethal on that left-hand side. The way he's able to make passes, dribble past his man. Just how did you feel about Margarita's performance?
I'm very happy with his performance, and again, we demanded of him, and he demanded of himself, and he's progressing the right way, and taking his chances, because that was one of the things we asked him to be more lethal, be more efficient, and he showed it. And if you look at today, he scored a goal. Maybe could have a penalty, a red card sent off. So there was instance where he played a big part.
And then, of course, like you mentioned, a resilient week. Obviously, went to Tulsa Wednesday, 120 minutes, went all the way to penalties. Started 2-0 down, and then just to come back from 2-2. Obviously, you mentioned how proud you are of your boys, but just the mental resilience that they had, from
unbelievable.
Minutes, and then come back from 2-0
Listen,
down.
that's what I say. Like, to have a group that has bought into what we want to do at Phoenix Rising, that comes to work every single day, and it's very easy to look at results, but people must look at progress, because as a human being, also we put them in situations where they're progressing. And again, as you say, the emotional that it takes to go down a man in Tulsa, come out with a victory, less than 4 hours sleep, because you have to take flight, to come back, 2 flight by the way, and come back on Thursday, then you have to play again on Saturday. I'm super proud, but I think, I don't like to talk about referees, but I think we got hard done. That's just me. I think it was a clear penalty. Maybe I don't see it, I don't know, but I think it was a Stonewall penalty, a Stonewall sent off in second half for them as the last person in there. So.
No, go. Okay. And then you spoke about being knocked up, and Rivera talked about how he had been dealing with something on his thigh, and then of course him coming on as a substitute and getting that goal. And just how proud of you are you of not just Dame but the entire team progressing through this entire week, which has been so.
I mean, that's what I say. Listen, first of all, nobody gonna feel sorry for you. Right? Nobody's going to feel sorry for us. We don't feel sorry for us. We know what we signed up for, and this is part of the game. But again, we talk about being mentally strong. You're being about resilient. You're being about showing character. I think we've been showing it whole through this year. A couple of lapses where we've gotten better. But again, super proud of everybody, and super proud of Damien, because we know what he's been dealing with, and for him to come into this game, and get us the point. You always want 3 at home, but this point can come a long way after the week that we had.
Both of Sacramento's goals come from them having real time and space in that sort of half spaces outside of the defensive shape. Similar thing for the Detroit game, right? Where the 2 goals that Detroit score come from very similar sequences where the fullbacks are maybe dealing with a couple of players. The winger's really high, especially early on in this game, to my eye. What can be changed defensively to try and make it more difficult for teams to have time and space just outside of the fullback free wall?
You're going to have some time, some space in the game. That's just the way the game is, right? The game is full of mistakes, and you're going to make mistakes. And again, you talk about playing 120 minutes. You're asking a lot. But again, there's a work in progress that we're going to rectify, because, there's always work that we can rectify, and we know we're going to rectify it, because coming in here in the beginning of the season, all of you were asking me slow starts. But nobody's mentioning again slow starts. Nobody asking me about set plays, So every single day that we do in the game, we're going to rectify, right? And do you want teams to have time and space? No. But teams going to find time and space, and sometimes they give good delivery. Can we defend it better? Yes, 100%. That's the one thing that we're going to focus on.
What have you liked about Remy Cabral so far this season, and what would you like to see him do better or do more?
Remy is doing the things that we're asking him to do. As we all know, it's well documented how his season went last year. With off the field stuff that he couldn't control, losing your dad, you losing somebody that you look up to is a massive thing. But we've seen him come back, and for us, he's a great connector in the locker room. Help the guys go together, brings a lot of good energy, and he's progressing the way that we want him to progress. And he should have a penalty today. I mean, he should have a penalty. I don't see how that is not a penalty. I'm sorry. It's just those are the moments that also change games, and I think those one of the moments that he created a penalty. He got knocked up a couple of times. So there was other instances that could have gone our way, but didn't. But still, proud of what he's doing, and he's just got to keep going.
Thank you. Obviously, 2 really good strikes from your side to get the 2 goals.
Yeah.
But when you look at the game as a big picture, there, are you happy with where they were in terms of creating chances and the attack in general?
I'm very happy because, let's be honest, I think they were more worried on us because they came here to be defensive, like in a little bit, like in a shape. They were not open. Again, we go back to the penalty situation. How would that look if that was given a penalty? The game, those are the things that change a game. But I'm very quite happy with where the players are because, again, I'm telling you, have you played 120 minutes and then a day and a half later you have to go in and play? That's tough. That's really tough.
Given that context then, choosing to go into this game with the same front 3 that you had starting in the week and starting the weekend before as well, what went into that?
Momentum. You got to give players momentum. There's nothing wrong with giving players momentum. Right? It's easy to just switch, but we felt like there was a great momentum with these players, and why not? Because one of them scored the goal to get us back into the game, and the second one came from our subs. So for me, I'm very happy with all what the boys give. That's what I say. It's easy to find little things, but trust me, once you've been in 120 minutes and you come out of the ring and you have still opportunity to win the game, by the way, I'm very proud of the boys. Because I know how is it and how hard is it emotionally and physically to play a game on Wednesday. And by the way, 2 flights, don't forget that. Imagine that. 2 flights to get yourself home. And then you got to be ready, 36 hours later to play on a 1 o'clock game. Have you tried it? Try it.
Any update on Emil Cuello? He wasn't on the availability report.
Yes, unfortunately, again, Emi, one of our most important players, a player that brings a lot to the team. Unfortunately, he got injured with his ankle. And he wanted to go so badly, but also, for me, players' health is also important, because we're going to need him throughout the season, and he showed his worth. So resting him this game was very good, but also his replacement didn't put a wrong foot in, which was Braxton, an 18-year-old, playing incredibly. Unbelievable the way he's playing.
Now, Carl Sainz, he subs in the second half. There was a period where someone was down on the field, but you brought him over to give him a message. What were you letting him know at that time, and then what's the message overall for him playing that center back role this time?
No, we know that he could play it. We also, because Casey has been out for a while, and I think that was a monster of a performance from Casey, because it's not easy to come in a game on Wednesday, and then again you have to go from the get-go here. I think he did well, but again, you had some people on the bench that could play multiple roles, so it was very important. And for me, it was just, we knew that in behind will hurt them because they didn't. That's what they struggle with. So so we try to, for him, is just keep it simple, put it behind them. And you see one of the passes, Marga could have maybe laid off what he wanted to do, laid off to Tico. It didn't come up, but we got a couple of balls in behind them from him.
Is there any timeline at the moment for when maybe Mo might be able to come back and get back in the squad?
Wednesday, Mo is back, hopefully.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about your academy players. Obviously, you had Payne play today, for example. How do you think their development is?
Great, wonderful. I mean, you look at Braxton. Braxton is a monster. Right? Braxton has been in every game that beside New Mexico, right? And he's have always standout performance, right? And I'm truly proud of him. I'm truly proud of who he is as a person, but also how he has continued to develop. But also that speaks also highly volume of our youth academy coaches that have had him, and he comes into this environment and he continues to develop and he's playing, you know, and he deserves to play because he's showing week after week that he deserves. And for me, it's not about your age, it's about your quality as a human being and as a player, and he's showing it. And J-Mo came in today, brought a lot of energy, came in on Wednesday as well, brought a lot of energy, man down, you know. So we trust our youth players. We definitely trust them because they're showing their value, not only to us, but also to their teammates.
Vimos una muy buena pelea de tu equipo el día de hoy para poder sacar el resultado, pero ¿qué le faltó al equipo hoy para poder sacar sus 3 puntos?
Para mí, yo se dijo, hoy, equipo y trabaja más duro, papi, porque es diferente, make roles, ganaron penal, hoy 2-0, venir 2-2. Yo soy muy feliz para el equipo, yo soy muy feliz.
Ha habido muchos cambios en la línea defensiva esta temporada. ¿Crees que eso ha tenido un impacto porque tu equipo no ha podido mantener un partido que sí que les meta ningún gol?
No, para mí es muy importante un poquito cambiar de la defensora porque los jugadores y le un poquito cansado. Es muy importante finalmente los otros jugadores. Y le vemos y le juega con la Harvey porque le venir con mucho de energía por el equipo. Para mí, yo miro un equipo y son más duro y corazón.
Y hablando de Mo Traoré, estás esperando que regrese a practicar el miércoles. ¿Qué tan buena adición va a ser Mo Traoré para crear consistencia en esa línea defensiva?
Sí, Mo es un jugador y es muy importante para el equipo. Y juega bien con Pap, con Braxton, es un jugador y es un líder. Para mí es muy importante y Mo es un importante jugador del equipo.
Obviously, brought certainly up the struggles this week with just the amount of games, and
Struggle?
travel, and all of that. Well, no, in terms of getting the turnaround as quickly as you do from Wednesday on to the weekend, and throughout the whole season so far it's been about process and getting better, but we're almost a quarter of the season in now. Depending on how results go tonight, you could be bottom of the West. At what point does it become less about process and more about results?
So you don't think we try to play for results?
At what point do these games become games you have to win?
All games you have to win. Can you win all games? Have you win everything in your life? Or do you try to win?
But is there a point?
No, I'm asking you. No. Do you want to win everything in your life?
You want to, don't you?
Yeah, you want to. Does it always go your way?
No.
So do you think we don't want to win?
No.
Are we trying to play?
Right. But at what point does it become?
Every game is important, but every game is a process. Every day you go to work, you don't have a process in your work. You do, no? And every day is a process. So what do you want to do? You want to skip the process?
Right, at what point do those results become?
But results is results.
Critical to the
I can't control results. Can you control results? What can we control? We can control how we perform, what we do. We had a penalty, no? Did we get it? Can we control that? We can't. Right?
Any other questions in the room?
Because we can't lose the season in April. I've never seen a team lose a season in April. Have you?
Setting up a battle.
What?
I think setting up a battle at this point.
But that's part of football, no? Messi played in 5 World Cups. When did he win it? And did they win their first game? Right? Madrid win all the titles. Did they lose against Arsenal? It was an uphill battle, no? And everybody said when you go to Bernabeu, it's going to work, right? 30 titles they had in 11 years. It's football. So you got to trust what you're doing. Me, I trust my guys, and I trust the club.
Viendo a tu lista de partidos que van a venir, obviamente tienes a grandes oponentes como San Antonio, que has jugado esta temporada, el campeón actual, Colorado Switchbacks, y después de eso tienes a Houston Dynamo. ¿Qué crees que va a ser la mentalidad en los entrenamientos y y todas las sesiones llegando a esos partidos grandes. ¿Y qué vas a hacer tú como el director técnico para mantener a los jugadores enfocados y motivados?
Mi equipo es muy motivación. Para mí, una juega con San Antonio, este primer partido, una hace pensar. Nunca switchback, nunca de Houston. Primer partido, San Antonio. Está solo más, una hace pensar.
Y también hemos visto el mismo sistema ofensivo ya en esos partidos pasados, viendo a Margarita por la derecha, viendo a Saco por la izquierda. Sí miré que tuviste un joven en la banca ahora, si no me equivoco es Cowell. ¿Iremos a ver algo de Cowell muy pronto o crees que es muy pronto para él? Sí sé que tiene 16 años, pero también hemos visto grandes cosas de Braxton Montgomery y de Jameson Ping. ¿Iremos a ver algo de él muy pronto?
Sí, pero Cyrus, sean jóvenes, es muy importante paso a paso para él, porque los jóvenes, yo pensar, ser un jugador por la futura. Entonces es muy importante el técnico y trabajar con él, ¿sí? Paso a paso.